Hello, what is up? What's good? Welcome in to the OnlyBets Sports Podcast Wednesday edition alongside DrewDelu, SternBets. I am the Prince of Picks. Got a great slate of games going on today. We're going to be excited to get into over the sports landscape. Champions League, the champions. We're back. We've got the second semifinal here, first leg. Atletico Madrid and Arsenal. We'll be covering that for sure. Then we've got, of course, the NBA playoffs, NHL, MLB, all in action as well. So we'll be sure to cover all those and give you our best looks and angles. As always, before we do that, do us a real quick favor. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is that you listen to us. Give us a real quick rate, review, subscribe. Really helps us a lot in growing this channel and getting it out to more potential listeners. With that being said, we appreciate you guys with that help. And let me go ahead and pass it over to Stern Best. Mr. Stern, good morning on this lovely Wednesday morning here in Chicago. How are we doing out there in Philly?
Oh, it's a good day. Hopefully, just a very small chance of scattered showers, but I think we're looking at a really good day overall. Weather is starting to pick up. I think I'm starting to like a little bit more on the overs. I said the last 2 days that I've liked the unders, which have pretty much by and far pretty much come in. A lot of action last night. I'm excited to talk into it, but we do have to get started on baseball because we have games going off in just over an hour and a half. So excited to get into it, but I just wanted to shout out that plus 300 Aaron Judge home run. I think it was in the eighth or ninth inning. I think it was in the eighth inning. And it actually served very useful because Betnar did give up a run in the ninth inning. And if he hadn't hit that homer, it would have been a little bit scarier. So thank you. Thanks for the Yankees. And yeah, what another home run hit. I wonder how many in the last week have you hit?
It's been a
4?
lot. I almost want to say we've hit more than we've missed. I mean, I hit on Mooney Taka a couple times. Hit on Aaron Judge. Hit on I can't remember who else it was. There was somebody else we hit on last week. So when we give it out, 5 days, right, a week. I want to say we hit at least three of them last week, which I'll take that.
Unbelievable.
I'll take that, right?
Just
So
for the listeners listening, if you're taking plus 400, in order to be profitable, you need to hit every 1 in 4. So granted, Prince, you're taking somewhere between 450 and 300, but you're hitting 1 in 3. That's more than enough to be profitable.
yeah, absolutely. No, we'll take it. I mean, hopefully we can continue the run this week as well. But yeah, man, we're crushing those so far.
Yeah. Drew, let's bring you in. How you doing? How was yesterday? Any
Yeah,
reactions before we get into our recap and then head straight into baseball?
yeah, for sure. On the straights, I went 2-2. I swept my outplays with Logan Gilbert under and Zach Littell under. I will say with the Zach Littell, he probably wouldn't have made it like 6 full innings, but he also got kind of screwed from one of his fielders who was thinking too much to ground the ball, and touch third and throw it to first and went right under his glove. He ended up giving up 8 runs, only 4 of them earned. But still, though, the Mets discovered him out in a way. And then now you have Zach Littell, who's given up almost 20 runs in his last 3 starts. He just hasn't been as great as we expected. Logan Gilbert started to kind of regress to be an inning eater. He only made it 5 innings, once again. And then hey, I was on the wrong side of a Savage. I should have done his over and outs. He only had 3 strikeouts, but he absolutely was excellent. 5.1 shutout innings, about 74 pitches. So shout out to him. Dyson Daniels, I lost that right away. You know what? I'll take that on that. But yeah, so 2-2. You're not counting the home run bit.
Yeah, we don't really count the home run bet. We just mention it if we hit it, mostly because it should just be a sprinkle between zero point 0.1 to 0.25 units, depending on your comfort level. And again, it's plus 400. So if it doesn't go right, that be on you if you're upset. If I'm looking at my bets yesterday, really kind of split down the middle. First play of the day hit flying colors within the first quarter of the game. Bayern Munich team total over 1.5 cash, no problem. The two-leg parlay in the NBA did not come through. Celtics did not win yesterday. When we get to our NBA section, I'm going to be very curious to hear your guys' reactions to the 76ers winning last night, just demolishing the fourth quarter. Spurs, I should have just laid the juice, laid the line with them. They dominated. The 76ers Celtics first half under 109.5 came through by at least 2 or 3 points. I think it was a pretty nice. It was a little bit of a sweat, but it was a nice come down. Then the 2-leg parlay in the NHL also failed to come through as the Sabres lost by 1 in overtime. So at least we caught your play, Prince, which did come through very nicely, basically sweat free. 2-leg parlay in the MLB did come through. Yankees, Texas, first 5 under 4.5 parlay with Seattle, Minnesota, first 5 under 5. That came in with flying colors at plus money. There were 2 total runs between both games in the first 5 innings combined. So nice little play there. The Phillies' first inning money line was avoided as no runs were scored in the first inning, and then the Red Sox failed to win yesterday. So a little bit of a mixed board for me, but looking to improve. Prince, how did you do yesterday? Like I already kind of mentioned, your 3-leg parlay in the NHL cash, no problem. How were your other ones? Oh,
Yes.
Harry Kane. Literally the first 2 minutes of the game he scored.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So officially for the show plays, I went 2-2. Like you said, man, Harry Kane. I mean, 3 things are guaranteed. The sun rises in the east, it sets in the west, and Harry Kane scores. So that went through automatic. He scored. And then, as you said, the hockey parlay hit as well. Oilers team total over 2.5 that hit. Sabres plus 1.5. That one went to overtime. They did lose, but they covered. Then Wild Stars under 8.5. That one hit as well. So we hit that parlay. Then, fortunately, Bayern Munich, they weren't able to pull it out here, although they made a hell of a comeback there at the end. It was what a game, by the way. I can't wait for the second leg in that one. That was a great advertisement for soccer for any neutrals out there. You're going to want to watch this second game. If you like goals and you like fast-paced action, it doesn't get any better than Bayern PSG. I thought that was one of the best games I've ever seen, to be honest, and I don't think I'm being hyperbolic in that. But anyway, then going back to the Celtics here, we'll touch more on this later, but I did have them team total over 112.5. Yeah, something happened to them. I'm not sure. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but unfortunately that one missed. 2-2 officially, but we did hit the home run sprinkle. So if you want to count that, we went 3-2 for the show plays, and then like I always mention, guys, we hit a lot of live plays over on X. So follow me on X at PrinceOfPicks10. I post a lot of live plays over there. We hit quite a few of those yesterday, so we had a pretty good day overall.
Yes, we did. Looking forward to another one. All righty then, let's get into baseball. Pretty big slate tonight. I have a number of plays that I want to get to, but Drew, I'm going to go to you. What game are we going to be discussing first? Today's day baseball slate.
Yeah, I'll go to the Yankees Rangers. The game is supposed to start 10:40 Pacific time. I believe 1:40 your guys' time. Now it got
Two,
moved to I think
yeah.
2:35. The thing is, I see there's rain, but hey, Rangers, why didn't you just close the roof last night? But anyways, that's not the point. Sorry, I just wanted to sound kind of mean to the Rangers. You know what I mean, Stern? But I just thought that was
Hey,
kind
you're
of
not going to
funny.
hear any flack from me for being mean to the Rangers.
Well, yeah, because I see it's like, oh, it's like 20 or 30% chance to rain like all day. It's like you guys have a retractable roof for that reason. So don't let the field get dirty before the next. I think they have to like close the roof again and make sure the field's fine. But you know what? I don't mind waiting another hour, I guess, for
You would
this
think
game
they
to
would. You
start.
would think they would be able to plan for that, right? Like they can see the weather
Yeah,
forecast. That shouldn't
yeah,
be an
it's
impact,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, it's crazy because also another thing they need to plan for because I don't think people understand and like they should know this that roofs take a long time to close like those kind of roofs. I know the Chase Field one does in Arizona. It takes quite a bit of time to close. I think it can take like over an hour to close because it has to go slow, and stuff like that. And they should have planned for it. But we're going to the Yankees game because I do have a play in it, and also the Yankees have a rookie starter who has been killing it in Triple A that they're bringing up, Elmer Rodriguez. I believe I may be wrong, but I believe this was supposed to be either Will Warren start or Luis Heel start. I think it was Will Warren start, and they want to try out Elmer Rodriguez. When it comes to this case, this guy in Triple A has pitched 21.2 innings. His ERA has been really good. He's struck out 20 in 20.2 innings. But he also has 7 walks. His line. I noticed his strikeout line was around 3.
Prince, can you hear Drew, or is it? Did I cut out?
No, I think he cut out. I can't hear him.
All right, Drew, just if you cut out, so I'm just going to keep going here. Hopefully, where the direction you were going is, we love this kid. I really like where he's at. He also pitched in the World Baseball Classic, which was fairly impressive and honestly a lot more intense than the current game is going to be.
Lighter.
Hey, Drew,
Oh, can you
sorry,
hear me now? Can
yeah,
you hear
you're
me now?
cutting out.
Oh,
All I
sorry.
did was just mention that Elmer Rodriguez pitched in the World
Yeah,
Baseball Classic and did quite well. And this is
yeah.
maybe less of a higher intensity. This is a lesser intensity situation. But sorry, keep going, brother.
Yeah, so what I was saying, I'm going to Eovaldi now. I know Eovaldi is the type of pitcher that is can go 6 innings. Beginning of the year, he was struggling to. Recently, he has been able to. Last game against the A's, he went 6 innings. He had 6 runs, but he only had 86 pitches. The Yankees are a lot more patient team, and Nathan Eovaldi's metrics overall, his strikeout rate is pretty low. Besides when he faced the Athletics, and he's got a lot of hard contact, quite a bit of home runs. He gave up 3 home runs, I believe, 3 to 4 home runs in his last start, 3 to the first 4 batters. And he's pitching against a Yankees team that has been very patient at the plate. I know you can point to the Yankees just allowed Jack Leiter and Jacob deGrom to go 6 innings, but no offense to Eovaldi. Like I said, he's a great pitcher, and I've loved watching him in the past. But I just feel like there's since the Rangers just had 2 pitchers go 6 innings, and they just lost their first 2 games of the series. I don't think they'll mind having to pull them if they have to because they probably don't want to get swept. And I just don't see this man who Aaron Judge owns. I know he owns a lot of pitchers. Aaron Judge owns them, and they're going to stack a bunch of lefties. And Eovaldi struggles mightily against lefties. 3 of those 4 home runs he gave up were all against lefties in the first inning. So I like Eovaldi under 17.5 outs at -110.
I absolutely love that play. Just found it on DK at -108. When I'm looking at Nathan Eovaldi's underlying metrics, you're spot on. He has a 9.5% barrel rate to a 49.5% hard hit rate. Those are not numbers that are going to do you well in the big leagues. Doesn't really matter how good your curve is working. He does have a 28.5% whiff rate, but like you said, his strikeout rate is league average at 21.8%. This is really going to come down to him being able to throw more than just his curveball. I am going to take the Yankees on the money line for a half a unit today. I really like Elmer Rodriguez. I think that he has some really good stuff. And honestly, I think that we're getting a discount against a not so good Rangers team right now. Everything that I see is I think that even if the Yankees are losing going into the 6th or 7th inning, I think that they have a much better chance of coming back late. I think getting -113 on the money line is a gift of a price for just simply the better team. Like I know that they're on a huge winning streak and they're on the road, but Texas hasn't done anything to show me that they deserve to be the favorites here. And Nathan Eovaldi doesn't really scare me right now in the current levels that he's at. So yeah, -113, half a unit on the Yankees is a play that I'll gladly take. Drew, any thoughts on taking the full game for the Yankee side?
Oh no, I absolutely love that. I think one of the main reasons they're doing this, and this is actually always a good time to get teams that are, to me, the better team and the better team in general. Nothing against the Rangers. I think the Rangers will eventually, like, have a good season down the road and stuff like that. But the Yankees are 20-10 for a reason so far this year, and the reason why is the best time to get a team because they have a rookie. Whenever you see a first start pitcher, right? The Vegas gets scared because they don't know if he's going to get rocked or if he's not going to get rocked, and that's when you don't panic. You jump on clearly the better team. We saw it with the Braves against the Nationals when they started J.R. Ritchie, and the Braves at the Nationals, who of course we know the Braves were the better team. The Braves, I believe, were underdogs in that game, and then Ritchie pitched really well. So this is always a great time to back the better team.
Yes, it is. All right, where are we going for our second prop?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm only going to have probably 2 player out plays because I didn't really necessarily like any like strikeouts or first 5 like run lines like I thought I would because we do have some aces backing up on facing some unknown pitchers. But the first game of the day, I mean, there's 2 that are tied, but first game like Drew Rasmussen versus Gavin Williams, and there's Kikuchi versus Fetty. I don't like Kikuchi or Fetty, and I'm not a fan of Rasmussen as well, but I am a fan of Gavin Williams. But the problem is the Rays offense has been hot as well, in my opinion. And then I would say my final play that I have, I'm trying to find it here. Before I go to my final play, I was going to go to the Giants, my Giants versus the Phillies. I kind of expected the Phillies to win yesterday, but the Phillies, I believe, like Molly was pitching really well, and in the sixth inning, he just completely blew up and gave up like five runs or so, and Luzardo looked like his old self. That's good to see. And then we have Logan Webb for Sanchez. I don't usually like betting on my own team's outs because anytime I do, it's bad, in my personal opinion. But something I will say, they don't even have his outs up. But for that game, I'm just looking forward to watching Logan Webb versus Christopher Sanchez. It's going to be a good matchup. But if I had to go to one more, we have Michael Walker versus Michael Walker. What is it? Michael Walker versus the A's. So it's Severino versus Michael Walker, and I like Michael Walker here a lot. He's been really good this year. He's been an inning eater. I believe Chris Bubich did pretty well in that A stadium, so I like Michael Walker over 17 and a half outs here.
That's a very interesting game. Still trying to figure out how I kind of want to cap it, but I don't hate it. Michael Waka, I think, is probably should be favored side here. The Athletics are confusing to me because they are such a young team and they make so many mistakes. But they're a really good, talented team. Also, I would say that the balance of power in this game shifts the later the game goes. Early in the game, I think the Royals have a huge advantage. Luis Severino is terrible in the first inning, while Michael Wacha is actually really good. And then it flips. Michael Wacha gets weaker as time goes on, and Luis Severino gets stronger. So if you see the Royals go up big, I actually like the Athletics as a hedge in the first 5 or first 7. But anyway, that was just a thought of mine on that game.
Yeah.
Do you have any other
I
prop
was gonna
plays for the day?
say
Sorry.
with Luis Severino, you make a great point. Against the Rangers, he looked surprisingly like much better, and I was very impressed with them. But you're definitely right about Luis Severino. Like, he had a stint where, like, in the first 3 innings, he'd walk like 5 batters, and all of a sudden he turned a switch. And I'm sure the A's were like, "Hey, can you be inning 4 through 5 guy all the time and not inning 1 through 3 guy?" Because I saw he faced the Rangers before that at the A's, and dude had threw like 35 pitches in the first inning. Like in the first inning, in the second inning, threw like 20 more pitches. And like, oh, this guy may be out in the third inning, and he finished 6th. So, and then when it comes to Michael Walker, the last start was the first time he didn't finish 6 innings, and then we did see what was it, Chris Bubich yesterday go 5 innings. It was a game that they ended up winning 4-1. And then Chris Bubich, 96 pitches, 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Michael Walker is really a pitch to contact guy and weak contact. And there's certain hitters that will scare you, I believe, for the A's. I believe that Max Muncy is like out and hurt. They've had some injuries. They're starting newer people like in right field and kind of center field with like Geloff, and I forgot the other guy in right. So the main people, if Michael Walker can get through Shea and Nick Kurtz and Rooker, the return Rooker, I believe he'll be able to produce weak contact to the others, and I trust him to go 6 innings because something I'll say about the Royals manager, he lets his starters go a certain amount of pitches. He doesn't panic to pull them. Like they could have easily panicked to pull Bubich before the 4th inning, but they let him finish 5. So that's one of the reasons I like him to go a 6 because he pitches in the strike zone. He doesn't do a lot of walks. He's going to be like, you're going to hit my stuff, and I'm not going to walk you.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on.
Nothing else.
Wait, sorry. Do you have any other prop plays?
No, nothing else besides the home run play.
All right. So I have a number of plays here that I want to get to really quickly. I'm going to start off with the Mariners money line -125 for a full unit. I just like George Kirby here on the mound. He might not be striking out a crazy amount of batters, but we do see control from him and elite control with the ability to induce bad contact with a ton of ground balls. Barrel rate 4.4 with a 58.4% ground ball rate. Those are with expected metrics and stats that are excellent outside of the 41% hard hit rate. And he looks to be a dependable non-lefty arm. I say non-lefty arm because the Twins have absolutely demolished left-handers this season. And for the Twins side, we get Taj Bradley, who has also looked impressive on the surface with 4 total runs given up over his first 5 games. But last time out, he gave up 6 runs and 4 home runs to Tampa Bay. And the underlying metrics suggest that that's really kind of more of his mean. Barrel rate is respectable at 7.4%, but hard hit rates at 46.3%. And the ground ball rate, and this is really what I want to focus on, 34.7%. So the weather and the 29.5% line drive rate is going to get him in trouble again any park, especially a good hitting situation. It'll be interesting to see which version of Bradley we get. But if all else fails, and this is close to tied or tied by the end of the 6th or 7th, I trust the Mariners bullpen a lot more than Minnesota's. Seattle's bullpen right now ranks 8th in runs given up from the 6th inning on. Minnesota ranks 22nd in the same stat category. Mariners bats really look like they've woken up lately. I cannot trust Minnesota. And yeah, I don't mind playing the -1.5 at nice plus money either. But I think that there's a really solid value on Mariners money line -120. Drew, do you have any thoughts on George Kirby or this game in general?
Yeah, I would say I would say both pitchers can be shaky. I like Kirby a little better. Taj Bradley, it's funny that what happened to him the last start because I think before last start he only had like a 1 or 2% barrel rate, and then the Rays just like switched it. Something that does concern me is the Mariners' offense still continues to kind of like struggle in a way as we've noticed, especially against starting pitching. I would say it basically comes down to the pitcher you trust the most. I'm impressed with Taj Bradley's growth at the end of the day. And you know what could be one of the reasons why he struggled against the Rays? That's his old team, and they know everything probably about him as he got built up in the system as a prospect. So that could be the case. But if I had to lean aside, it would be Mariners.
Yep, not even leaning. I'm going full 2 feet in. Anyway, all right, let's get to Tariq Skubal here. That's my next bet of the game of the day. Sorry. We have Skubal versus Richie for the Atlanta Braves. Now, the Atlanta Braves are interesting. They have the best record in baseball. They have the best bullpen in baseball right now. But they're starting someone who we don't really know all that much about. But when you're looking at his underlying metrics, nothing is really impressive here. 11.8% barrel rate, 47.1% hard hit rate. The strikeout rate's pretty good, but also the walk rate's a little bit high. So not really sure how much control he actually has, but we know exactly how much control Tariq Skubal has. 5% barrel rate, 39% hard hit rate. His whiff is phenomenal. His strikeout rate's 27%. His walk rate's at 4%. Nothing in Tariq Skubal's arsenal. As we know, he's a Cy Young pitcher, pretty candidate at least every single year. I'm going to take the Tigers' first 5 money line parlayed with the full game money line for a half a unit at -135. And then I'm going to put another half a unit on the Tigers' first 7 money line at -150. I don't really know. I couldn't decide which was the better play. I like the -135 price, obviously, more than the -150, but neither of them are great. And I don't necessarily trust the Tigers bullpen 100%. But if Tariq Skubal is giving them 7 or more innings, I don't think that they have to really worry about the bullpen issues too much. They should be able to just get up to their setup and closer. So I do like them to finish out the game. Any thoughts on this game, Drew?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, Scooble is Scooble. I know Richie only had one start against the Nationals. It didn't look necessarily bad. What is it? Because I remember the first pitch Richie threw, he gave up a home run to James Wood, and then after that, he did pretty well. But you're facing Scooble. Usually, they win Scooble starts. The thing that we look at for Scooble is to see if he does enter the 7th, what happens to him. But I expect the Tigers' offense to still heat up and to attack this rookie. I think Richie's going to have a good career, but and as good as the Braves' offense has been, personally, and how hot have they been, I think because how much Scooble dominates lefties, the amount of lefties they have in their lineup. The Braves do like the top, like Matt Olson, Michael Harris, Yastrzemski, and Dominic Smith. I think it's going to be tough for the Braves to score a lot of runs in this game or compete.
Yep. Same thoughts here. All right, next game, Dodgers Marlins. Now, the Marlins have been giving the Dodgers a lot of trouble, just like the Rockies did. And honestly, we're not really sure what's going on with the Dodgers, but what I do know is that they're going to put the effort in today. I do like the first 5 money line with the full game money line, but the price is at minus 150, which was just gross. Not willing to play that. I took the Dodgers team total over 3.5, parlayed with the Marlins team total under 5.5 at minus 137. I know it's gross, but it's a little bit more statistically more likely going to happen. Tyler Glasnow, I believe, is on the mound. He is somebody who I have continued and want to bet on pretty consistently. There's nothing in his underlying metrics that show me that he isn't doing as well as we think he's doing. 5% barrel rate, 38% hard hit rate. His strikeout numbers are at 31.7% to a walk rate at 5.8%. He has complete control, and he's going up against the Marlins, who are not, I mean, they're feisty, but they're not a top tier team. Tyler Glasnow was pitching like a top tier pitcher. And on the other side, Sandy Alcantara, while he's clearly back in some form, I think he's tied leading the majors in outs per start. He's not where he should be. His underlying metrics are all right. 4% barrel rate, 33.5% hard hit rate, but his strikeout numbers are at 16.3%. His walk rate's at 7.8. The underlying stats are all right, but the Sierra and expected ERA is not. I see cracks in the armor. I'm not sure how long he's going to be able to go. And against an elite offense like the Dodgers, who I know that they haven't been hitting the way they do, but in the final game of the series here, I expect them to wake up a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to take the team total of the Dodgers over 3.5, parlay with the Marlins team total under 5.5 at minus 137, half a unit. I thought that there was decent value there. Drew, how do you see this game playing out?
Yeah, definitely. The Dodgers have been kind of struggling a little lately. We saw them, we saw them kind of struggle a little bit against the Cubs. We saw them lose the series to the Giants, and now they're facing a team that just faced the Giants. The Marlins are a very good pitch to contact teams. They've been, I think they have the top 5 averages for players in the NL. The Marlins have 3 of them. They're not going to kill you with slugging, but they'll kill you with just contact. And they're facing Sandy. Sandy has got him back on track. I think he's only really had, in my personal opinion, that one bad start against the Tigers. But the Dodgers have the right guy on the mound. We saw Yamamoto only go 5 against the Marlins, and we saw Shohei barely go 6 with 104 pitches. But I expect Glasnow to get more strikeouts, and I expect him to go maybe 6 or even 7 innings in this game and shut down the Marlins. Glasnow has nasty stuff. As long as he has his command, I don't think the Marlins will be able to produce much hard contact in this case. But the Dodgers need to do something in the series because they can't rely on 9th inning comebacks like the first game. Yesterday they lost 2-1. So they need to try to get Sandy out of the game early and not get Sandy comfortable.
Yeah, something to note about the Marlins. They are the worst team in baseball giving up runs from the 6th inning on. Their bullpen is atrocious. So as soon as the Dodgers get there, and you've seen that in the last 2 games, Dodgers have struggled against starting pitching, but as soon as they get to the juicy bullpen, that's where they start making contact. All right, let me see if there's any other plays for me in the MLB today. There is not. Prince, I'm going to go to you. Where are we going in the MLB if you have any plays to get to?
Oh, yeah, I do have a play. Before I get into my play, I actually have a question for you. I like to ask you general questions about baseball because I'm still trying to learn as I'm trying to get better at capping baseball here. It's not my expertise, but I'm trying to learn about it. But one question for you. We've talked about the Toronto Blue Jays before, and I'm curious to see if I'm reading this correctly here as I'm trying to, like I said, kind of read the game here and read the stats in a way that's more palatable for me. So when I'm looking at the Blue Jays, their batting average right now, they're 10th in the league in batting average, but they're 25th here in slugging and 20 around the same thing in home runs here. So what that tells me, and again, correct me if I'm wrong and tell me if I'm on this or not, but what that tells me is that they're more of a contact hitting team, that they look more to hit in the gaps and move the runners on bases as opposed to looking for home runs and stuff. Is that, am I reading that right? Is that kind of how I would read into those stats?
I have to dive into it personally. Let me get to my page here. I think you're right. For the most part, they haven't really been hitting the power as much, but yeah, they have been getting bat on ball. They also have a low strikeout rate, which is helpful in getting contact on at bat.
Okay,
Oh,
okay, that makes sense. Drew, any thoughts on
oh,
that?
you're talking about how like the Blue Jays like lack of power recently.
Yeah, like basically they have a pretty high batting percentage here, but they don't hit a lot of home runs. Their slugging percentage is not very good, but their batting percentages is a top 10 in the league. So what I read into that, and as I'm trying to figure out the data here, is that they're more of a contact hitting team, and they don't really hit for power. Maybe they're
Yeah.
just more right. Am I right about that?
Yeah, so something I will also say is some of their power hitters are injured, and they have been injured, such as George Springer is a big key for that. Addison Barger is injured. There's so many injuries, and Nathan Lucas is another one that got injured, who is a power hitter, and also Alejandro Kirk has been injured too as well, and he can hit for power. They have like Tyler Heineman, who's not really a power guy as well, and I know Varsho has been in and out of the lineup. But they have been hitting the ball well, but some of their power hitters that usually produce that power are out.
Yeah, 100%. And Antonio Santander is the only name that I would add to that power list that are out currently.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
good point
perfect.
right there. Yeah, I forgot about Santander.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, like I said, I'm still learning from you guys. I mean, most of my baseball experience, I will tell you guys full disclosure, is from like playing the video games, right? Like MLB 2K, and if you want to go way back, like Triple Play on the Sega Genesis and RBI baseball, even farther back than that. So that's where most of my experience comes from in baseball. But yeah, I'm still trying to learn from you guys, so I appreciate that. I do have one play in the majors today. I think you guys will probably be on the same page with me on this one. But I'm looking at two games here. It's a two-pick parlay. First one I'm looking at is the Orioles taking on the Astros. I like the Orioles here, team total over 2.5. I like to fade the Astros pitching staff here. They're one of the bottom three in the league right now in terms of ERA. So I'll take the Orioles here at home to get 3+ runs. And I'm going to parlay that with the Colorado Rockies team total over 2.5 taking on the Reds. I think we're expecting a high scoring game in this one. And I think the Rockies will have to contribute to that. We're looking at them to get 3+ runs here. So you parlay those together. Orioles 3+ runs, Rockies 3+ runs. That comes in at -120.
Yeah, I like that play a lot. I have the over in both of those games. Colorado Cincy is going to be a really fun hitting environment. Brandon Williamson is not a pitcher that I would hang my hat on. Same I would say about Tomoyuki Sugano, but he somehow figures it out every once in a while to work himself out of trouble. We have not seen the same with Brandon Williamson. And then as for the Orioles side here, I think that there's a potential for a lot of runs today. I don't trust either starting pitcher for the most part. Both of them have potential, but again, I don't see it. And then you're going to go face a really bad bullpen in the Astros, who have struggled to keep it down, which is surprising from their caliber in years past. But all the metrics here tell me that it's going to be an over for both of these games.
Yeah, I absolutely love both of those because when I was looking at actually like both those weathers, both are around like 60 degrees with like 60 to 7% humidity. I know for Great American Ballpark, wind is blowing straight out. 11 miles per hour in center field, and Great American Ballpark is already has favorable dimensions. As for the Orioles game, it's 12.8 miles per hour diagonal to left center field, which means home good for home runs, 72% humidity, and you have honestly pitchers at the end of the day that we can't necessarily fully trust. Brandon Williamson, he's a decent pitcher. I think he's gonna have a good like future down the road. But the problem is you play at Great American Ballpark, which is as close to Coors as it can get, in my personal opinion, just because of the short porches, the dimensions, where you play in Cincinnati, where it can get very humid and the ball travels far. And then when it comes to the Astros starting pitching, seems like no matter who pitches, it's very atrocious. It's like contagious at the end of the day. So yeah, I like it.
Awesome, yeah, and I think this is kind of the time of the year too, where you're going to see a lot more runs, right? Because of the weather, right? The seasons are changing, and it's kind of like raining season right now across a lot of the country. And with the rain, obviously comes humidity, and humidity helps the ball travel, right? So, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's kind of this is a good time of the year, right, for hitting.
Yeah, definitely, especially if there's a zero chance of like rain as well. And while you're talking about that, I was actually checking. The Orioles game. There's actually an 83% chance of rain, so maybe that game will possibly get rained out or delayed. But generally, when that comes to case, starting pitchers have to get it out earlier. When it comes to Great American Ballpark, there's only a 13% chance, but that's something to look out for the Orioles game is the rain. But something we want to hope is the game will just, if anything, get postponed. And anytime I've noticed when there's a double header or something, and if it does take place the next day, a lot of runs get scored.
Yeah, something else about the weather. I'm pretty sure if anybody wants to correct me on, but feel free. I think when it's going to rain and there's humidity before the rain, it helps balls go out. But once the rain drops, I think the humidity falls, and therefore, and the air density is more, I don't know, whatever the proper scientific term for that is. But it's actually harder to hit, I believe, after the rain hits. The atmosphere changes. All right, Prince, is there any other games that we want to get to? We've almost covered them all. St. Louis, Pittsburgh, any thoughts there or any questions there? Anything that we want to get to before we get to our home run picks of the day?
No, nothing else for me.
All right, let's get into the home run picks of the day. Prince, going back to you.
Yeah, so we're going right back to the well, guys. And this one is going to be a early first pitch here, 1 p.m. Eastern. We're looking at the White Sox game. I'm going back to the well here. Munitaka Murakami plus 349. I think the conditions here are excellent for him to go yard. And I love it. He's on fire right now. He's probably the hottest hitter in the majors, and I'm going to keep riding it. So give me Munitaka at a great price here, plus 349.
Yeah, don't hate that at all. We've talked about it, and Kikuchi doesn't scare me at all. 9.2% barrel rate, 44% hard hit rate. Those are not numbers that you want to see going up against someone whose caliber is just smashing right now. Drew, where are you going?
Yeah, definitely. You can't go wrong with Murakami. He's finally starting to hit home runs against lefties when that was a concern. So that's bad for the league that he knows how to hit home runs against lefties now. But anyways, I'm going to the Yankees game. I talked about how lefties absolutely, dominate Eovaldi. And somebody that I'm going to go to, I believe that you went to the other day. I'm going to go with Trent Grisham, a lefty here at plus 440. I love Trent Grisham here. He's been hot, and he has the power, and the pitch mix that Eovaldi has. Trent Grisham usually can lift well, so give me Trent Grisham at plus 440.
I don't mind that at all. The one cause of concern is I was watching the Yankee game last night, and he ran into, I think it was the 8th or 9th inning, and he ran into the wall, and he was down for, I think it was like 5 or 10 minutes, and he looked a little bit injured. If he's playing today, I expect him to be fully healthy, but just something to watch out for today when he's going out there. But I
Hope
don't
he
hate the
falls
play at
down
all.
on the home plate and he hits a home run.
Yeah, listen,
But like he's fine though. Yeah.
Yeah, he's due. He's due. Not that we should be saying he's due, because that's not a smart sports betting term. I'm going to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I think it's high time that he started knocking these out of the park. He has a 13.2% barrel rate, 48.4% hard hit rate. Those are the numbers that I'm looking for. Everything else is absolutely elite, including his strikeout numbers. So he's going to get contact, and I think that once he gets contact, it's going to go the yard. Brayan Bello, we've talked about him. Not good. He's not good. I think he gave up 5 home runs last time out. I have to double check that. But he has a 16% barrel rate, over 40% hard hit rate. Nothing in Bello's repertoire right now is telling me to lay off. Every single time he's on the mound, I'm going to expect him to give up at least 1 or 2 home runs. It might as well just be a guy who has the pedigree of Vladimir Guerrero. Plus 501. What did I get this at? At plus 500. It's an incredible value. I got this at plus 502 on ESPN. I just think that's way too good of a value. He has given up so far. Oh, he gave up 5 home runs last time out in Baltimore. Not good. Not good at all. Plus 500. Give me Vladdy all day. Prince, where are we going now? Basketball, hockey, or soccer?
Let's go to hockey over on the ice here.
All right, let's go to hockey. I'm very excited about the hockey slate today. Yesterday we had some upsets. Going to be very interesting to see the Flyers going on. Where are you going today, Prince?
Yeah, so for me, we're going with another 3-pick parlay here. I got a pick for each game tonight that we'll be parlaying together. So first up, again, we will go in chronological order. Look at the Lightning and the Canadians. I'm going to take the Lightning here. Team total over 1.5 goals. I think this is very achievable for one of the top offenses in the league here. So give me the Lightning to score 2+ goals against the Canadians. We're going to parlay that with the second leg here between the Penguins and the Flyers. I'm looking at under 7.5 goals here. This has hit in every single game so far in this series. Actually, the most goals that we've seen is 6. So we're actually getting an extra goal here as a little bit of insurance based on the current trends of this series. Can't see this one being a high-scoring one. So I really like the under 7.5 in that one. And then finally, the third leg of our parlay, we're looking at the Knights and the Mammoth. I'm going to take the Knights here on a puck line plus 1.5. I think the Knights probably win this one outright, but I'll take them with a goal insurance. When we're looking at the Knights, they've covered this in 6 of their last 7 losses. So it's really hard to blow out the Knights. Typically, when they lose, they don't lose by more than 1 goal recently here, according to the trends. So I'm going to ride those trends here again. We're going to take Golden Knights plus 1.5, Penguins Flyers under 7.5, and the Tampa Bay Lightning to score 2+ goals. That one comes in at minus 130.
Yeah, I really do like the way that you're putting this together. I'm on a very similar plays as you. The way I took it was I took the Flyers plus 1.5 and the Golden Knights plus 1 at minus 133 over on Caesars for a half a unit. But yeah, I'm on board with all 3 of these plays, very much so.
Awesome. Yeah, I like yours too. I'll be telling that one as well.
I hope you play everything.
I tell all your plays. I don't mean to say that like only that one. No.
I have one additional play in the NHL today, and that is going to be a first period over. I've been looking at the over-unders for the first period, waiting to see when a good situation would be to dive in, and I think this is the time. Canadians, Lightning's first period over 1.5. I got this at plus 100. Pretty sure that the line has moved from last night, so I would take this up to minus 115. Otherwise, I would pivot on the over 5.5 in the full game as well. But we're going to talk about the Montreal's ability to create an upset here, because if if Montreal is able to get something going, it will force the heavily favored team in the Lightning to push. So what I'm going to do is see the Montreal's ability to create high danger chances against Andrei Vasilevsky, who is operating at a minus 2.14 goals saved above expected, or I should say below expected. Canadians have hit the first period over in 48 of their 84 regular season games. And like I said, if we can get an underdog to produce, I think that Lightning can contribute too. They had 0 goals in the first period yesterday, as opposed to the 2 games before where 2 goals came in, both in games 2 and 3 of the series. I really, really, really like the first period over 1.5 at even money here. And like I said, if the line has moved too far beyond 115, I would just pivot to the over 5.5. I really do see defensive and goalie vulnerabilities on the Lightning side, which Montreal will be able to take advantage of. Prince, you have any thoughts on this?
No, not really, but I like it.
All right. Drew, any thoughts in hockey before we get into the NBA?
No thoughts on hockey.
All right, let's get into the NBA then. Prince, I'm just going to give it to you. Any recap from yesterday? I kind of mentioned it earlier with the Sixers beating Boston, especially in that fourth quarter, but I'm going to just give you the floor. What do you got?
Yeah, so to recap yesterday's games, Philly, what a second half from them. First half, it looked like they were dead in the water. It looked like Boston was about to blow that thing out. But Boston, like we keep talking about it, this 3-point variance. when you shoot as many threes as they shoot, you're either going to win by a lot or lose by a lot. And they weren't hitting them last night, and so Philly was able to come back. Joel Embiid had a great game, 30+ points. They ended up with 33, if I'm not mistaken. So we all thought that he couldn't keep up with the pace here in this game, but they found him in a way to be effective, and he was dominant down low. So they're going to rely on him again, of course, if they want to be competitive in this series. But shout out to the Sixers. I think they shocked a lot of people. I don't think Boston's in trouble here, but especially with them having Game 7 at home if it comes to it. So I still like Boston in the series, but it's a little bit more competitive than I think a lot of us thought. Going to the Knicks and Hawks. I knew this would, or I didn't know, but I was on the -6.5 for the Knicks. They ended up winning that one by, what was it, 20 plus, almost 30 points. The Knicks are just a better team. Like we said before, the Hawks, couple wins. They had a lot of things go right for them to get those 2 wins in the series, but overall, New York is just shown to be just a better team, top to bottom. I think they probably close this series out in Atlanta here in Game 6 tomorrow. Then looking at the Blazers and Spurs, I was on this one early. I thought the Spurs would sweep them. I think they would have if Wemby was healthy throughout the series. But 4-1 sweep, gentleman's sweep here. I took the Spurs over 12 or 112.5. So we hit that one barely, but I like the Spurs in this series all along. And Portland, shout out to them for making the playoffs, but they were never going to really have a chance against this Spurs juggernaut team. So that's kind of my recap from yesterday. Did you have any thoughts on that before I get into my plays for today?
No, but it's so frustrating to see the Knicks play so well. Like, I know that sounds stupid because I'm a New York fan, but why can't you just play this well all the time? Why do you have to muck around?
Well, that's the thing with them. If they were just more consistent, I mean, on paper, you look at the roster. I mean, they should be contending for an NBA Finals appearance. I mean, they're that good, but it's just in between the years for them, right? It's just they have these letdowns when you would just randomly when you don't expect it. And so I say they should close out the series, but it is the Knicks after all. So you always have to throw that caveat in there.
Yeah, it's almost like being a Philly fan. Shout out to my Philly fans. All right. Detroit up against the wall against the Magic. What's going to happen tonight?
Yeah, I don't know how you could fade Orlando. Orlando is turned, like I said, they've turned a corner here. They've flipped a switch, and I don't see how what they've shown you to not trust them right now. Closeout game on the road. We're getting 10.5 points here. I think it's at 9.5 now, but I would still, if you want to play the 9.5, that's fine. Or you can outline it to 10.5. I got it at 10.5 last night. But in any case, I like Orlando here, getting the points here. I think they keep it close. There's nothing to suggest that Detroit's going to blow them out. Orlando's, like I said, they've been playing very physical with Detroit. I think it's causing the Pistons a lot of problems. And until the Pistons can find a secondary scorer to take some of the load off of Cade Cunningham, I think you're going to see just a repeat here of Orlando loading up on Cade and trying to force other guys to step up. And so far, they haven't been able to step up. That's why they're down 1-3. So I love getting Orlando here plus 10.5. And who knows? Maybe they close it out, sprinkle some on the money line. Detroit's in trouble for sure.
That's going to be such an interesting game to watch. And I really feel like the opening quarter of the game is really going to dictate how the game kind of flows,
Yeah, I mean, if you want to play a first quarter, 100%, I would play Detroit. Right? They're the ones with the backs against the walls, right? So you would think that they're going to come out a little bit more desperate, just naturally. So yeah, I would expect the Pistons to probably come out strong in the first quarter, but again, just seems like over the duration of the game. I think, like I said, I think the biggest issue for Detroit is finding a secondary scorer. Cade Cunningham cannot do it all by himself, and until they find a secondary scorer, they are going to have troubles in this series. So. I don't know if that's going to change. I don't know how that's going to change. I don't know who's going to step up, but somebody's got to step up for Detroit other than him.
Yeah, it was really cool to see that you took a splice of our show and you put it together with one of this other podcast that has like NBA experts, and it was literally almost like word for word. It was really cool to hear your analysis over his, or I should say with his. But yeah, by the way, my models play was Detroit spread in the first quarter, and I just couldn't pull the trigger because, well, I bet on Detroit a lot, and I have money riding on them, and I'm not interested in putting further down on that position. All right. Any other plays in the NBA? We have 3 games here. Anything else to add?
Yeah, I do have one more play here. I'm going to skip the Raptors Cavs officially here. I do have a play, but it's over on TikTok. But I'm not going to give that officially. But again, you guys can follow me on TikTok at PrinceOfPicks10 if you want to see that play. But in terms of the show play here, I'm going to go to the Rockets and Lakers game tonight. I said it before and I'll say it again. This is a must win for the Rockets, of course, obviously, but I also think it's a must win for the Lakers. If they don't win this one, you don't. All the pressure is going to be back on LA. You go into Game 6 in Houston. At that point, I would expect Houston to win, and you're likely to see a Game 7. If they go to a Game 7 after being up 3-0 and potentially being the first team to ever blow a 3-0 series lead, all of the pressure will be on the Lakers. So, in my opinion, I think this is just as much of a must win for the Lakers as it is for the Rockets. Are they going to do it? I don't know. I don't trust either one of these teams. So I'm not going to take a side here, but what I am going to take, I'm going to take the Rockets team total over 102.5. I get it. The Rockets have struggled to score, but in today's NBA, 102.5 is an absurdly low number. And we're talking about the Lakers. And I don't rate the Lakers as one of the top defensive teams in the league. And so in a closeout game here, in a must-win situation for the Rockets, 102.5, I think that's an extremely low number. I think the Rockets have a great possibility. I know Kevin Durant's out tonight, but I still think with the desperation of the Rockets, they should be able to at least get close or cover this 102.5. That's just too low of a number. It's more of a fade on the Lakers defense than anything, but yeah, I'll take that number every day. 102.5 for the Rockets.
All right, playing it right now. It's also one of the only games that I don't have the under circled, so definitely the game that I would be looking for an over anyway. Just for anybody listening and interested in that Toronto game, I definitely have the over by a wide margin. I think there's a lot of value on there, but it's not my play to give out, so can't really give it out, can I? Drew, any thoughts in the NBA?
Yeah, I was gonna do a first quarter prop for Paolo, but the line was at 4.5 and minus 135 yesterday, and it's already moved to like 5.5, I believe, at like minus 150. So I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna do it, even though he has covered that he's covered 4.5 like almost every game, but I'm gonna stay away from it because of how much the juice has gotten.
It's always smart. Would you potentially go the other way on that play? Considering that the books, I always am interested when the public pushes a line significantly that far off, because I'm like, what were the books thinking in the first place? Is there a reason why they put it lower than they did yesterday?
Yeah, I wouldn't go the opposite way, especially for him, because he is somebody that I've noticed in the series. He's covered at least 5 or more in the first quarter each game of the series, even when he had 4 of 18 last time. And as we've seen, with other teams, if their stars aside, because he hasn't shot well, if he decides to shoot well in the first quarter, much better than, like more what he's used to, it's kind of risky to go the under, if that makes sense.
Sure. All right. Let's get into soccer. Yesterday, we talked about it a little bit. We had one of the best Champions League, scratch that, best football/soccer games that we've ever seen in our entire lives. When we say the word banger, that was the definition of a banger of a match. Prince, can you give us a little bit of a recap at what happened, including the second-minute goal by Harry Kane?
I mean, you saw two teams that just play full throttle offensively. It is a joy to watch as a neutral. It's a joy to watch as someone, just a sports fan in general. Again, like I said, you want to see goals. Watch Bayern and PSG. Neither team plays defense. I mean, they're both of them have the same exact mentality that they just want to outscore the other team. And you saw from the very first minute. By the way, I don't want to correct you, but Harry Kane actually scored more like in the 15th, 20th minute. Wasn't
I'm
the
sorry.
second, but yeah, sorry. No, I
felt like
I
the
don't want to
second
correct you.
minute.
I didn't want to mislead the listeners out there. But he scored early. He scored early in the first half. I mean, there were 5 goals in the first half, guys. That doesn't happen. I mean, it was 3-2 at half for PSG. So, yeah, just an awesome game. I mean, what a memorable game. It's something that soccer fans will be talking about for years to come. And that's what happens. You have two teams that high press. They love to turn the ball over for the other team. They love to counterattack. They're elite counterattacking teams, both sides. And you saw saw it. That's why it was end to end. Every time one team got the ball, they lost it. It was horses racing to the other end, and it was just back and forth. There was no midfield. Everything was so direct. It was just a lot of fun, man. I really enjoyed it. I actually watched it again with my father last night. I never watch games twice, ever, ever, ever. But this game was so good. He hadn't seen it, and so I just decided I'll watch it with him again and just kind of relive the experience because it was such a memorable game. I just really had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah, that was definitely, if there was ever going to be a game that I would watch twice, I would very much consider that, especially because I had stupid little work meetings in the middle of it, which I couldn't really get out of. So I was paying attention most of the time.
Yeah, well, fortunately, we'll be able to see it again next week because
Yes, we will.
the second leg will be in Bayern. I'm telling you now, expect the exact same thing. Nothing's going to change. It's going to be another awesome high scoring event.
The second that the team total for Bayern drops, that's what I'm betting. I don't care
Absolutely.
if it's 2.5.
And shout out to you, Mosh, by the way, that Bayern over 1.5. that was free money. What a play.
Yes, that turned out. I wish I put more than a half a unit on it. All right, but today we have Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid. Now, Arsenal has progressively gotten worse as the season goes on, handling multiple injuries. But at the same time, can we really trust Atletico Madrid? I'm very curious to hear your analysis. I couldn't come up with a bet myself for the game, mostly because of how confident I felt yesterday on Bayern Munich's team total over 1.5, and I don't think I'm going to beat that. So, where are we going today?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm curious to see what Brad Betts thoughts are. He was in here earlier. It looks like he had to dip out. He's a big time Arsenal fan, so I was kind of interested to see what his thoughts are in this one. But for me, Arsenal is not in good form right now, and I really can't back them right now, especially on the road. Atletico Madrid comes into this one in a little bit better form as the home team here. I struggle to pick a total here. I'm leaning probably towards the over 2.5, just because Arsenal has regressed defensively. But at the same time, I can see Mikel Arteta here setting this team up in a very low defensive block. And just kind of looking to minimize the damage on the road and seeing what they can do at home. So when it's Champions League and you have a defensive minded team, which Arsenal is defensive minded, even though they've regressed recently, they still are a defensive minded team. I struggle with the total. So what I landed on here, I'm just going to take the team that's in better form. I'll take Atletico Madrid on a draw no bet at plus 115. I really like getting what I think is the better team in better form right now at plus money with getting push insurance against the draw. So I'll take Madrid here, draw no bet plus 115, and then I'll look live here, see if I can play anything for the totals based on how the game's going.
Yeah, I want to see how the opening 15 minutes kind of goes. If we're going to see more of a faster pace, open style play from both of these teams, honestly, not you know.
You're not going to see 5 goals in the first half. I'll say that much, but yeah.
No, this has just been just like Bayern and PSG has been over machines. Arsenal has been under machines. So, very curious to see how the opening 15 minutes goes. I think it'll dictate a lot of the game. Nothing for me pre-flop, but I'm going to be very interested in live betting. So definitely pay attention to me at SternBets on Twitter, Prince at PrinceOfPicks 10 on Twitter. We'll definitely put out our plays there. Again, going off at 3 p.m. All right. Any last thoughts? We are at the hour. I'm going to invite our listeners to request. Sorry, I forgot yesterday to invite you guys. Anything that we want to get to, or anything that you guys want to give your take, please feel free. Prince or Drew, anything else that we want to get to while we wait for people to possibly request and speak?
For me, nothing else. We do have more soccer action today. We've got England National League playoffs going on. Those are playoffs to get promoted. So I've got some plays for those over on X. Again, you guys can follow me at PrinceOfPicks10 on X. Also, make sure to follow our webpage here, OnlyBets Podcast, also on X, where we're going to be posting content on both of those pages. We've got the U.S. Open Cup as well tonight. So I've got a couple plays for that. We also have the CONCACAF Champions Cup, LAFC, taking on Toluca tonight, which should be a pretty interesting matchup. So a couple more games tonight. Yeah, we'll see. Side note here, I'm expecting a little bit of a high scoring game in that one, but we'll see. I got to do a little bit more research on that. But I'll definitely have some plays for those. So again, follow us over at OnlyBets Podcast and also myself at PrinceOfPicks10 over on X or Twitter. or either
Please
one.
tag me. Please tag me when you put out that Toluca play.
Yeah.
I have followed Toluca a lot, and obviously we followed LAFC. That's going to be a really fun match. If you guys aren't familiar with, you know what, how about Prince? Tell our listeners what is CONCACAF and how it compares to Champions League, and why it's so exciting.
Yeah, so basically the CONCACAF Champions Cup is the North and Central American version of the UEFA Champions League. UEFA stands for shoot, I can't remember. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Something European. I thought I knew it. I was like, oh wait, I
I've
don't
been
know it.
there. I've been there.
United European Football Association? Maybe that's what it is. I'm taking a guess on that, but I might be right. But in any case, it stands for something European. But CONCACAF, basically, the acronym stands for North and Central American Football, something, something. But it's the North and Central American Champions League version. So you have MLS teams competing with basically teams from other domestic leagues within Central America and North America, which a lot of people don't know. Canada actually has their own Premier League. So you got the Canadian Premier League, the Mexican Liga MX, then of course your other Central American domestic leagues, Honduras, Nicaragua, even the Caribbeans, Jamaica, things like that, right? So you have a lot of different domestic leagues all competing against each other in group stages and knockout stages. So we're in the knockout stage now. It's a home and away aggregate score, just like Champions League. So the only difference is in CONCACAF, they count away goals as a tiebreaker. So that kind of has an impact. If you score an away goal, it's almost worth 2 goals, because if there's any tiebreakers, the tie goes to the team that scores the more away goals, which they used to do that in UEFA Champions League. They got rid of it, which I think is the right decision. And I think CONCACAF should do the same thing. I don't like the away goal rule, but CONCACAF still does it. Not sure why. But in any case, that's kind of a rough draft of what it is. It's the same thing as Champions League, but just for locals here in North and Central America.
Thank you. An excellent analysis and breakdown of that. Definitely a series that we've been watching in our little chat, and something that I'm going to be looking forward to watching tonight. What time does the game go off before we bring Michael in to ask or say whatever he's going to say?
Yeah, it's a late one tonight because it's in LA. It's a 10:30 p.m. Eastern kickoff tonight.
Okay, not terrible, especially when some of the other games are winding down. That'll be fun to put up.
Yeah, and we're actually sorry, just to recap, we're actually in the semifinal right now, and we have 2 MLS teams taking on 2 Liga MX teams. So typically at this point, the cream rises to the top, and so it's usually MLS and Mexican league teams that you have left remaining, and that's exactly what we have. We had Tigres taking on Nashville last night. Tigres won on the road; they won 1-0, so big win for them. And again, that away goal is gonna do them a lot here. Basically, Nashville's going to have to score like 3 goals or win 2-0, or else if Tigres scores, then they got to score 3. So the away goal rule really throws a wrench into things. But we're in the semifinals here, so the best of the best.
That's so interesting. Yeah. Again, Liga MX is a league where if you're seeing low scores early, definitely bet the over. Michael, welcome in. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Missed you the last week. It was noticeable that you weren't on on the ground correspondent. I think that's what we call you now.
He was
How
our
you doing,
Jamaican
brother?
correspondent. What's up? What
Yeah, I
you
was
want,
away on
man?
assignment. So UEFA stands for Union of European Football Associations.
Yeah,
What is
that
it again?
checks out.
Say, what is it again? Sorry, what was it?
Union of European Football Associations.
Perfect. Yeah, I was close. What did I say? United
Yeah,
European Football.
close enough. You're in the ballpark.
Close enough.
Do you like BTTS and over 2.5 for Champions League today?
BTTS and over 2.5. Not officially. Again, I struggle to take a total in this one. I mean, I don't hate it. I could see both teams scoring because Arsenal's regressed defensively, in my opinion. And of course, with Atletico Madrid, I've mentioned it before. They're a Jekyll and Hyde team defensively, and so at any point they could also give up goals. So I don't hate it. I'm not giving out officially, but if you wanted like a lean, yeah, I would lean towards that or just an over 2.5, either or.
Cool. And is this leg at Madrid or in London?
This one's in Madrid.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Yep,
Yep.
cool.
Thank you for coming on. If anybody else wants to come on, please request sooner than later, as we are going to be closing up our show. But I did just get some breaking news. Garrett Crochet has been placed on the 15 Day IL with left shoulder inflammation, which is very interesting. If you've seen him pitch lately, it was clear that he was not 100%. So very interesting to see that they think that it's going to take a little bit more time than they thought for him to get fully better and pitching. But that's a huge blow to the Red Sox.
Real quick, sorry to just want to go on a tangent here. Something I wanted to mention. I keep forgetting, but I think now's a good time. So we're just going to go on like a 1 minute tangent here. I want to give a shout out to somebody that has been very supportive of us over the duration of I would say years. So we were talking before about me giving a lot of live plays. I've also been getting a lot of live plays out over on Driving the Line on YouTube. This hosted by the great Alan Bell. He's a great capper, but more importantly, he's just a really genuine guy. And he's been very supportive of me and Mosh. Me and Mosh actually kind of met each other there on that channel. We first started networking through that platform, and he really helped us kind of elevate us and give us a platform to really elevate our status. And so I just want to give a shout out to that channel. We've been hitting a lot of live plays over there in the live chat. Over on Driving the Line. So definitely, guys, they're kind of like I was call them like our sister network in a sense. He's been a big mentor of mine. So just want to give him a shout out. Definitely join us or join them over there Monday through Friday. They're 10 a.m. Eastern over on YouTube. Again, that's Driving the Line. Give Alan Bell a follow at Alan Bell, Alan G Bell, I think, over on X. Follow the show as well at Driving the Line. Great show, great capper, real genuine guy. And we've been hitting a lot of live plays there. So if you guys want more live plays, I've been posting them in the live chat in the morning shows, and we've been really crushing them recently. So, and of course, Brad here, Brad Betts, he's been one of our great friends, of course, great supporters. He's also there Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You guys all know about him and his great soccer capping, one of the best soccer cappers out there. So, a lot of good talent on that show, and I just wanted to give them a shout out because they've been very, very supportive and helpful for us. And they really, Alan really gave myself. And I think most could probably speak to the same a platform here to really help us with the success that we've had now. So I just want to take a minute to give them a shout out and give Alan a shout out, give the show a shout out. And again, you guys can catch them right before us. So there's no conflict there, 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday. I think you'll find a lot of great content with a lot of great people and a lot of great bets.
Yep, 100%. Definitely got my start there. Taught me how to put together a take, put together bets, and how to limit exposure so that you don't have 15 plays going off all at once, because those days can get messy. Yeah, but definitely DTL and The Early Edge are both shows that we really kind of spawned from and highly, highly, highly recommend. Both of those shows go off at 10 a.m. in the morning, and I think DTL also has a 3 p.m. show still. Right, Prince?
Yes, he's got two shows. So they got the 10 a.m. Eastern and then the 3 p.m. Eastern. So definitely you guys are going to want to catch both of those. And yeah, a lot of great content. But like I said, more importantly, they're just really genuine people. And Alan's just one of the most genuine cappers out there. He's been very, very helpful and supportive. So yeah, I think you guys will really enjoy the content over there.
Yeah, the hosts of both of those shows are absolute incredible people. So definitely worth follows. All right. Anything else before we get to our recap and get on out of here so that we can publish the show so people could hopefully get their picks before 1 p.m. start off on our MLB Day baseball slate. Prince, anything else?
No, nothing for me.
Drew?
Maybe Drew checked out. Drew, are you there, or did you check out already? No, he's not there.
All right. All right. So I guess I will go over the recap for him. I believe he put it into our little chat. Just got to find that little chat. Alrighty. Nathan Eovaldi under 17.5 outs -110. Michael Wacha over 17.5 outs -115. Sprinkle on Grisham home run +440. For myself in the NHL, Canadians Lightning first period over 1.5 at +100, and a half a unit for that one. Everything's a half a unit unless otherwise stated. NHL 2-leg parlay, Flyers +1.5 in the Golden Knights +1 -133 in the MLB full unit. Mariners money line -125. Tigers first 5 money line parlay with the full game money line -135. Tigers first 7 money line -150. Dodgers team total over 3.5 parlayed with the Marlins team total under 5.5 at -137. And then last but not least in the MLB, Yankees money line minus 112 at a half unit as well. My MLB sprinkle of the day, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. plus 502. And a play that I didn't give out yet. Almost forgot this one. Scotty Scheffler to win this week plus 325, half a unit. I've been betting on him personally and I guess publicly for a while this entire season. He is yet to win. And when we say extremely due, he is extremely due. So anyway, I think it's worth a sprinkle. This week is going to be the week. I've been waiting. It's like roulette where you're like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Now is the time to do it. I'm pulling the trigger and I think he's going to get it done. All right. That's it for me. Prince, what do you got?
Oh, I'm back, by the way. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. I gave your 3 plays
Oh,
for you
perfect.
already.
Yeah, an emergency work call.
No, it's all good. We're all there. We're going way past the hour here. I apologize for our listeners and to us.
Yeah, all right. I'll go ahead and close this out then, since we already recapped Drew in your place. So for me, guys, looking at the Champions League, give me Atletico Madrid on draw bet plus 115 on the ice tonight in the NHL playoffs. I will take the Tampa Bay Lightning over 1.5. Penguins Flyers under 7.5, and the Golden Knights plus 1.5. That parlay comes in at minus 130. In the NBA tonight, give me the Orlando Magic plus 10.5 around minus 120. I will take the Houston Rockets team total over 102.5 at minus 110. On the ballparks tonight in the major leagues, give me the Orioles team total over 2.5 plus the Rockies team total over 2.5. That comes in at minus 120. And for our home run sprinkle, I'm going back to the well. Munitaka Murakami hit a home run plus 349. That's going to do it for us today, guys. This has been the Wednesday edition of the OnlyBets Sports Podcast with DrewDelu, SternBets. I am the Prince of Picks. Thanks for Michael jumping in with his contributions as always. We appreciate you guys. Have a great Wednesday. Let's cash out these tickets. We'll be back tomorrow, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Same time, same place, right here live on X Spaces. Follow us at OnlyBets Podcast. And again, we are looking for co-hosts and contributors. So if any of you guys out there love to talk about sports, love to bet on sports, join us. We're right here. We're easy to find. Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. We would love to take your takes and get your opinions on air. So be, of course, happy to take you. With that being said, guys, have a great rest of your day. We will talk to you all on Thursday morning. Thanks, everyone.